Hi everybody, let's try this again, shall we? It's what happens first time with new technology, and we're still working it out. Anyway, I'm going to start this question and answer thing with a little performance for you. I'm going to play one of my favorite compositions called Nunzio's Near. Here we go. And there you go, a little bit of Nunzio's Near. Right, guys, thanks for your patience. That was a little hairy getting started there, but I hope you're all going to join me with this new link. This technology is still new, so we're getting used to it. So welcome to the Frank Gambale question and answer live webinar kind of thing here, and thanks for joining me here. I really just am happy to be here live. You know, I haven't, my last live concert was September on the East Coast of the United States in 2019. So it's been a long time. And I also moved to another country, which was quite challenging inside a pandemic. So anyway, it's good to be here with you all. And so let's see. First of all, just tell me where you're from mostly. I want to see, you know, I like getting a little bit of a shout out for people. Where are you? Giuseppe Loriga, Sergio Gomez. Where are you guys? Let's see, what is Sergio asking? You are one of my biggest influences. Amazing jam master. Well, thank you kindly. I didn't know if we were going to get this going. This is not technically correct. I wanted to use better audio, but, you know, we had to default to the microphone. So here we are, the microphone inside my laptop. So that's cool, it works. That's all I care about at this point, is that it works. Let's see, I had some questions earlier. One person asked me, what is my favorite electric band album? And, you know, it's always a hard question, is because I have a great fondness for all those electric band records we did. I would have to say I have two favorites. If I have to choose two out of the 6 or 7 that we did, Inside Out. Inside Out was one of those records that was completely incredible compositions from Chick and enormously challenging. I'll never forget this one tune called Tale of Daring. And it was, you know, a 32-page chart, and my goodness, it was an incredible piece of music. Same with Make-A-Wish. A couple of tunes from that record were very, very challenging. And I also loved To the Stars, which was the record we did 10 years after we split off and went, you know, and then we came back together again after a 10-year hiatus. That was an incredible record, and some of my favorite recordings of all time, that particular record. It was quite stellar. Nick Kelly, my old friends there, Joseph Roig, I think that's how it's spelled, Giuseppe Loriga. The Grandmaster, hi Frank, hi Nick, nice to see you here. I think he's just moved back to America, if I'm not mistaken. Welcome from Germany, Joseph. Any questions for me, friends? Yes, from Sardinia, that's great. Someone from Bulgaria, Daniel Dobrev. Welcome, guys, welcome. And look, I'll even put you on the screen. How about that? Rolando Cruz Elizondo. That's a cool name. Hi from Monterrey, Mexico. What a beautiful city up there in the mountains. Lovely. So, listen, some more questions for me, perhaps? Boy, South Pasadena. Sean, how are you, Sean? Yes, nice to see you. Ivan Souza. Big fans. Okay, look. There were questions that came in earlier before I started the webinar, so I'm going to talk about some of those right now. Somebody asked me, how do you play Gotta Match? You know, the head to that tune. And, you know, that it's got hairy fingering because it's one of those keyboard riffs that doesn't seem to lay very well on the guitar. And I hate when that happens. So... here's one of the things that I do. I try to find a place where I can sweep anywhere in there. Now there, I find the opportunity to do 2 downstrokes and 2 upstrokes as well. Now instead of doing the triad here, the A major triad, I go up there. The reason is the next three notes. I do it as a sweep downwards, because if I have to go that's really weird having to do that leap. So I do it there with a down and 3 upstrokes. If you want more clarification on that, I've given it as a free PDF and guitar profile on my website at frankgambale.guitarschool.com, and just scroll down to the free stuff and you'll see that listed there, and you can just download it for free. Because you know, a lot of people ask me that question, how the heck do you finger that? And that's what worked for me. I try to find places where I can sweep wherever possible, even if it's only over 2 strings, and it works great. And it helps to speed things up, you know. Let's see. Here's a question. Let me put you up on the screen. Is this a good question? Let me see. Let me get rid of this thing here. Question and answer. That way I can see it better. Hello, Charles. Having written so many songs, do you find it difficult to remember some of your older songs? I find it difficult to remember some of my newer ones. Or do they just come back pretty fast when you feel like playing them? Yes, they do come back pretty fast. In fact, I was just fooling around with one the other day, and it's a tune I really like, and it was off the Passages record, and it's called Uluru, which is that big rock in the middle of Australia, which used to be called Ayers Rock. And it goes... Pretty cool harmony, and then the bridge goes da do do da do 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 do. Pretty cool. And then it has this tag on the end, which is a little 4-chord, like on the 8ths, or quarters, I should say, like a E2 chord to the C sharp minor 13, and then F sharp 9, and A minor over B. Do, 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 la, ru, do, 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 la, ru, etc., etc. You know, chords, man, chords. You know, we spend a lot of time, we focus on a lot of single line stuff, which is also extremely cool, but chords, music, composition, it's a deep, deep, deep subject, and it's endless. Chords, getting that little Lydian effect. You know, and it's amazing how you can use a little motif, like that was that motif, da da do da do da, then repeated on F sharp, da 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 do da. Rhythmically, it's the same, da 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 do dee da do da, and then that part again, dee da do da, with a slight modification, da do da. Melodies that have this rhythmic cohesion really make it more memorable, of course. And, you know, you try and find cool chords. Da-do-do. I love these minor 6s. They're old-fashioned chords, but they sound terrific. Da-do-do-da. and the third in the bass. Like this is like an E. Whoop, where are you? It's like an E chord with the third in the bass. Da do do da. This is a surprise. What a nice little turnaround. Da da do do do. Then that repeating motif. Da da do do do. Singing the 13th or the 6th on this 9th chord. Do do da 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 do. I'm singing the root, but that Lydian. Oops, I gotta try to show you the chord there. You hear the repeating motif. That's a lovely resolution with the 5th in the bass of B. B goes from a G with the sharp 5 and the 6 D. Nice resolution, you know. I love finding chord progressions I've never heard, you know. I'm always looking for stuff I've never heard. And that keeps me motivated because it's really hard to do. And like you said before, I've written so many tunes that it's really hard to find new progressions that I haven't found before. But, you know, it's worth looking for. Now, another question. Hello, Frank. Would you share the story of how you met Chick? Well, I tell you where to get that story. If you go to the tribute we did, it's on my YouTube channel, the last live we did with the Electric Band members. It's an incredible chat, 2.5 hours, and we answer all the questions like that. Thanks, Nick. Wonderful changes. Yeah, I do my best to find them. Hi, Frank. My question, this is Aram, boy, I'm going to destroy your last name, Kachatrian. Not too bad. My question is here. I'll put it up here. My question, hi, Frank. My question is about the pick. You got to love the pick. How and where one have to hold it, and about the pick movement, how to move wrist during playing. Thank you for your thing in advance. Okay, well, you know, the pick, it's like our Achilles heel, the pick, you know. A lot of people struggle with the pick, and you really have to get organized with it, you know. You at least have to have a good alternate. I think it's good to stay loose, and I also think, see, the way our hand falls naturally against the guitar is at about a 45-degree angle. So I agree to keep the hand like that position, right? And then I just put the pick directly inside and keep the 45-degree angle. I use my little finger as a little guide most of the time, or even like that, tucked under as... See how it gives it stability, but I'm not resting my wrist on the bridge. So it stays pretty rigid in this 45-degree against the strings, and that's what works for me. It's good to have a pick like this. I use these big Daddario Planet Wave big picks. These used to be called bass picks. They used to use them on for bass, but I love them because they're, well, they're big. You have more chance of hitting the string. That's a joke, folks. And then what I love about these triangles is that every side is the same. I tend to flip my pick around all the time, and it doesn't matter where it lands because it's always the same picking angle, surface, I should say. And the thing about these tips on this pick is that it's a lot rounder. It still has a point, but it's a lot smoother if you compare this to a regular teardrop pick. Works for me, works for the sweep picking. I don't know if it works for you. Give it a try. I've been using these picks for 40 years, so I'm kind of used to them. Let's see, what else we got here? Is there a special angle you choose for down picking? No. 45. I try to keep it the same both ways. Some people tell me they can sweep in one direction, but they can't in the other. And to me, it doesn't register logically in my brain why that would occur. Because if you do it one way, it's the same but opposite. It should work both ways. It's really, you have to do a mirror image of the same thing. So, no, I don't do anything special for a down pick, but if I'm playing slowly, like in that melody, they're all downstrokes. Almost all downstrokes, because downstrokes have a bit more power to them. I mean, you could probably do it with... That's weird doing all upstrokes, you know what I mean? So doing downstrokes feels more natural. So you do what's natural, you know. Guitar, I always say guitar is hard enough to play already. We don't want to make it any harder. I always look for the easiest way to play something, you know. The result is what's important, not how it's done, if you ask me. Any more questions, folks? Let's see. So 45 degrees for the up picking also. Yes, that's correct, Joseph. Attack. Does somebody want to attack me? What do you mean by attack? Sergio. Yes, it does have more attack. I think that's what you mean by that. Right. Somebody asked me about, you know, how do I write songs? That's another question I get a lot. And it's a labor of love, I'll tell you that much. I'm going to run this little commercial along the bottom here, just so you know that there's a little sale going on at the website. Let's see. How do you write songs? Well, you know, I always call it a labor of love because, you know, it's one of those situations where you have to sit down and you dedicate the time to writing, just like you would dedicate the time to exercise or any other activity, having dinner. You know, you set aside time to do these things. And writing is the same. You have to put the time aside and you experiment. Oftentimes, it's just a little round of chords that can inspire the whole song. Like in Uluru, that whole tag is 4 chords. So you find chords that work for you. Today, I was just sitting at the kitchen table. We were about to eat pasta for dinner. You know, there's that Bach piece that goes... I rather like that. It's a cello piece. But I kind of like the sound of it on guitar, so I started... just coming up with a little progression. And then pisas. Simple, but it brought me into that same mood as that beautiful Bach piece. Sorry. Now I could leave it like that, or I could, you know, record that part and then come up with a melodic piece, melody over the top of it, which would answer it or at least blend with that part, you know. So writing, you know, it can come anytime. It really comes out of nowhere usually for me, but I think it was Picasso who said, inspiration has to find you working. I love that quote. Inspiration has to find you working. So you have to be sitting down, you have to be with your instrument, you have to be doing it and seeking it for it to appear. And it's a beautiful thing. I love it. Let's see. Thanks a lot. Best live right now. Well, thank you, Sergio. Marcus Winkler. Let's see what you've got to say here, Marcus. Let me move this stuff out the way here. Hi, Frank. How do you practice ear training? That's a hard question to answer. You know, I think the way I kind of learned to hear chords and stuff was really, I don't think there's any one method, but I really spent a lot of time learning from recordings by ear, just transcribing stuff off of records. You know, you might not get it accurately at first. You might only get, say, 50% of it right. But that doesn't matter. You're 50% better off than you were before. At least you know part of the song, even if it's, or you can play the song even if it's not exactly the correct chords. Like I remember transcribing a Steely Dan song way back called Green Earrings. And it was these triads over bass, but I didn't know those chords. I thought they were major sevens. Although they did that in a few tunes too, but then I realized, well, it was only one note off, but for years it took me a long time to get the accuracy of what that chord was. It was a B triad over E, you know, a triad over bass. I love triad over bass chords. That's an endless source of inspiration too, because there's 12 of them. There's lots of them. There's 12 of them. And so there's lots of bass, triad over bass possibilities. And then you can do major 7 over bass too. Nice suspension. Out. Kind of Lydian. Aeolian. Just plain out. Kind of suspended. Like D major 7 over E. So, you know, you can put anything over any bass, and that's really fun, you know. I like minor 7s, minor 7 flat 5s, I should say, over different basses. If you put it over F sharp, you get altered. If you put it over G, I'm using an E minor 7 flat 5 here. Listen to all the possibilities. C9 it turns into. Well, I can't do that one. So, really, you really get inspired a lot by just exploring different chords. I remember just moving one note around on a triad. Like I would take a D. Everybody knows that one, where you suss out the D chord. Very few people do it one more, right? Or all I'm doing is moving the top note. And of course it goes down to minor and the open too. And then I would move the low note, for example. I've heard that move in a song, or tons of songs actually. So you hear them. How about that way? Move it chromatically. I'm moving the root now. Oh, this. That's a very common move. Root to the major 7, to the 7, flat 7, and the 6, etc., etc. And then I would move 2 notes. Move the top 2, keep 1. And then I would move the top and bottom, for example. This is it diatonically. find stuff. You find stuff through experimenting. So experiment. There it is. Do the experimenting and you'll discover something and you'll go, oh, I can put a melody over that. You know, away you go and write beautiful music. Let's see. You're a sweep picking master with a special method. Do you feel limited? Never. That's a question from Joseph. No. There's a famous expression that I love also, and it goes, you're only limited by your imagination. So, no, I'm not limited. You know, I don't only sweep. I play anything. You know, to me, the guitar is just an expressive instrument. I sweep when I need to. It's like a 5th and 6th gear. But when I'm playing slow, I don't have anything special going on in the right hand. Except when I start to sweep. So I've blended stuff over the years, you know. Sweep is a tool. It's a very, very useful tool. And it works best when you're playing fast. If you need to play a fast phrase, or you need to simplify a complicated phrase that's hard with alternate picking. It's much harder with alternate picking. You can find a solution always with the sweep picking method. So, let's see. Ooh. Ite Zafati. Let's see what you're saying here. Ite says, hey, Frank, amazing Q&A. Well, thank you, Squire. And a longtime fan. Great, thank you. I wish I could clone you into 1,000,000. What is your way to work on flow, especially when you want to connect ideas or motifs that you're working on? Okay, well, that's a fairly good question. I do love motivic playing. You know, if I'm improvising, I'm just going to improvise in E mixolydian, right? Now listen, one thing leads to the next. Do you see that? You hear what's going on. You can hear one line leads to the other. One motivic idea leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to the next. And this is what draws in the listeners, if you ask me. This is what keeps people hanging on, you know? If it's a long, singular phrase that doesn't have any kind of tie-in, it's much harder to listen to. I find that motivic playing brings the listener in. So you get the idea. One thing flows to the next, and it's a beautiful way to make it melodic, rhythmic, and really draws the listener in. So try that to help you flow. Motivic playing. Try to, don't be afraid to repeat rhythmically a phrase. It's really a great thing to do. And that, that's the basis of melodies, One more time. See what I mean? Motivic things are beautiful, and people are always going to relate to it. So try to do that. I need a drink of water here, guys. You having fun so far? Sorry about the clumsy start today. How often do you play good old blues? Well, that's Andrzej, Kaminsky. Look, I love the blues as much as anybody. And in fact, my ear tends to like guitar players that have a blues bass, because it's a feel thing, Blues is not all about speed or dexterity or any of that, really. It's really about the soul and the expression. So. Blues teaches you how to express yourself on the instrument. And you can take that and then, develop your technique into other areas, but that as a foundation is a terrific foundation to have as blues. A lot of people miss the point of blues. They go, it's pretty simple, it's just this lick and that lick and a minor pentatonic and that's about it. But that's not the point. It's the soul behind it and the expression. B.B. King used to wail on a note, and some people thought that was the best thing ever, the way he could make one note awesome, and that's true. Can you make one note sound awesome? It's not easy to do. So that every note counts. Every note is important, So playing faster, you're skimming over a lot of notes, and that's an effect too. But when you're playing slower and it's bluesy, it's emotive. It's got emotion to it, and that's really important too. So I love the blues. First 10 years of my playing was only blues. I was in blues bands, and I played the heck out of it, and I don't regret it for a minute. I learned a lot from doing that, Saludos de Peru, Christian Cifuentes. Hello. Ian Michaels, what are a few of your heaviest, most rocking song albums? Well, I'd have to say The Great Explorers is probably my most rocking album. There's some rocking stuff on Passages too, and also Raison d'Etre. And I think, there's always something rocking on my albums, there's a tune called High Five, which is pretty powerful tune that's on Noteworker, and some new stuff coming up pretty soon. Let's see, another question. I don't know why I got that song in my head today. How to learn about complex non-diatonic chord changes. Complex non-diatonic. Oh, well, when this is Yasser Yemen's question. How to learn about the complex non-diatonic changes. Well, let's see. I think when I was younger and I was learning how to play through changes, one of the things I did a lot was learn how to connect any two chords together, because somewhere they will appear one way or another. So I would take minor chords, right? I would jam on just up a half step. I do 2 bars, keep it easy. So those two are not diatonic. They're out of, and then I would go, next one I would do up a whole step. So 2 bars of D minor and 2 bars of E minor. Then I would do 2 bars of D minor and 2 bars of F minor, unrelated. Then I would do 2 bars of D minor and 2 bars of F sharp minor, totally unrelated. And then G minor, that's a pretty standard move, 1 to 4 minor. and then D minor to A flat minor. That's as far apart as you can get. Flat 5. But learning to connect those. So this is one way to approach your practice. Learn to connect chords together, all the possibilities. Then I would have done D minor, A minor, D minor, B flat minor, D minor, B minor, D minor, C minor, D minor, down a half step, right? So all the possibilities of those two chords being combined. And then you get fancy. You can do a minor chord and a major 7 chord. Or you can just do the same thing with major 7 first, and then dominant 7, all dominant 7, all major 7. And then you can do it where you mix them up. You might go up half steps in different chords, like your D minor 7 to E flat major 7 to E9, which is a dominant 7th, and then F minor, F sharp major 7. You hear the pattern, right? You're going minor, major, dominant. Practicing those three chromatically. That's going to split your head until you get used to, trying to make all those changes make sense. And that's the important essence, is learning how to make sense of them. Learning which notes are the important notes to land on for each of those chord types is essential. I have a great course on that, target tones. So, that kind of stuff is important. You try all the possibilities of progressions. That way you're ready for anything, right? Or it helps you become ready for anything. Let's see. Yep. Any other questions, folks? Is it too late for you all? Saludos de Peru. Stefel. Hi, I'm hearing, let me put this question up so we can all see it. Let me get rid of this guy here. I'm hearing many passages similar to classical music. Do you listen to it? Well, I can't say I'm a huge listener to classical music, but I do love it. I have my favorite composers. I love some very cliche kind of pieces like Ravel's Bolero. I can listen to that every hour of the day and never get bored with it. There's something magical about that composition to me. Some people hate it and they find it very boring and repetitive, but there's something about this. I love repetition. I don't have a problem with repetition. The way that composition builds and builds and builds, and then, after 15 minutes, it takes this heavy left turn like a car that goes off the road. And it suddenly goes to another key. And then soon after, it finds its way back to the main key. And then all these obtuse chords happen. And then it just tumbles and ends. And you're left breathless. I remember one time, an interesting story. I was in Paris. And I was at a trade show, working a trade show when I was an Ibanez endorser. And I was on my way into the convention center. I was outside, and there was a big crowd. And then, how those, what do you call them when these people all of a sudden pop up and started performing. All of a sudden, I was completely surrounded by orchestral instruments, horns, the whole thing, and they were playing Ravel's Bolero, and I was right in the middle of it. It was unforgettable. So, anyway, So that was that. Yeah, I do love classical. I love the Romantic period. You know, Debussy, Ravel. You know, Benjamin Britten are some of my favorites. And you know, there's a lot of beautiful music that's been written. And you know, I do love Bach and Mozart as well, but not as much. For some reason, the harmony, I like more complex chords. And they didn't really get to that till much later, around the turn of the, you know, late 1800s. Giuseppe Loriga, fammi vedere che dici qua. Can you show me some diminished ideas over dominant chords? Okay. Well, you know, I would say a 7 flat 9 chord looks like a diminished chord. If you go up a half step from the, I'm going to do A7, right? If you go up a half step, you got a flat 9 or the flat second, right? And there's a diminished arpeggio. Go flat 9, 3, 5, flat 7. So whatever you do with a diminished, you can always do it up in minor thirds, right? Or you can play the whole diminished scale. I love the diminished scale. It's so full of patterns. My God, it's got endless patterns. I love the mystery of that scale, you know. Some of the arpeggios that are possible. Anything you do, you can do it in minor thirds. It's so symmetrical. This was one of the first ones I learned. Fourths in minor thirds. Oh, sorry. So there's a couple of ideas. I mean, diminished scale is it's a symmetrical scale with 8 notes. And it goes half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, and returns to the beginning. And it's, because it's symmetrical, endless patterns that are movable. And so that makes it a lot of fun. And you can play it over a straight dominant chord too. You know, you could play an A half whole diminished over a regular dominant 7 chord to give it some flavor. Instead of Mixolydian all the time, you can give it some real interesting notes. And why not? Giorgio, hello Giorgio. Let's see, let me put his question up here. Hello Giorgio. Great Franco. Oh, thank you. What are you working on right now? And I would like to know if the transcripts for the Salve album will be made available on your online school and the next courses. All right, that's a lot of questions there. What am I working on? Well, I'm still working on moving at this point in time. Man, moving in, you know, I'm still waiting on everything that we own is still sitting in LA. And there's been all kinds of shipping delays. And so, you know, moving and getting into the new place and settled again is high priority. It'll be still a couple of months before we're settled, but I'm very excited about getting settled again. And so I have been writing some cool new tunes that I will be sharing soon enough. There's some wonderful studios here in the Barcelona area that we're going to record at. And so that'll be coming, you know, before the end of the year. Once we get settled and have all my gear studio set up again. But I have been writing with my laptop and my guitar. And so I've got about 6 or 7 new tunes in the works that I'm very happy and excited about. And a couple of new courses that I'm working on for the school. One is called Playing Outside. A lot of people have asked me this question, hey, can you show us how to play outside? And I always say, well, look, you know, you make a lot more money playing inside, but It is fun playing outside, I tell you. It means it opens you up to everything, all possibilities. You can play anything, anywhere, but, got to be careful with it. And so I've compiled a really interesting bunch of concepts that I used for playing outside. That's going to be one of the courses. Another one is called Triad Heaven, which will follow up Pentatonic Heaven. And so that'll be coming too. And I've started on a composition course, which I think is really deeply important. Helping people get inspired to write and make beautiful music. And so those are all coming. What was the last part of your question? Oh, the Salve transcriptions. They're all done. So I'll get them up shortly, soon. They're coming. So there you have it. Next question. Hi, Frank. This is Torsten Nippe. Hi, Frank. Dave Weckl hinted at some Electric Band live material being released soon. Any updates on that? Well, yes. I heard that the mixes are almost done. And yes, I'm not sure of the release, but it will be soon. And Chick originally was going to make it a triple album, like a triple LP set or a 4 LP set. Not sure. But it's big and it's a lot of material. We pretty much recorded all the time. So there's so much material that, there's no shortage of Electric Band live stuff. So, but a lot of it comes from a recent, one of our last concerts together, which was live at the Tokyo Jazz Festival in the summer of 2019. So a lot of it came from that show. So, anyways, so that's coming soon. Let me see. Right. Some people ask me how do I learn songs, and I think that's a good question. There's a famous Chinese proverb that goes, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step," and I think that was pretty true when I remember learning some of Chick Corea's pieces that were incredibly long. And so I think with a new material that you have to learn, one of the best approaches is to play the song over and over and over and over and over before even touching your instrument. I find that this helps get my mental memory banks working, because I can listen to it and I can sort of remember where it's going to go before I even look at the music. Or sometimes I'll look at the chart, if there is a chart for it, while I'm listening to it and try to follow along. And that way I'm trying to memorize the basic framework of the song and hear the phrases. And so I get it in that way first. And then, so when you come to really put it on the instrument, it seems to be more rapid, because I've already sort of done the preliminary listening. But unless you listen to it a lot of times first, it doesn't, it's hard to make sense of the written music. So, there's a lot of players that play by ear that would surprise you if you knew that they played by ear only, because you wouldn't dream of it. You would think, oh, surely they read. But, there's a lot of great musicians out there that don't read at all. And so that's a great way to learn also, just by listening. Play it over and over in your car or whatever. Let's see. We're almost done here. I got some more questions. Could you speak a little bit about the importance of your own sound and style? Hang on, let me put this question up here. This is Per Zeberg. Speak a little bit about the importance of developing your own sound style. I'm very interested in that subject. Thank you for showing the path to us. Well, I think it's important to learn from others first. I mean, the first, I would say, 15 years of my playing, I was transcribing the heck out of a lot of different people, my favorite musicians. I wanted to learn as much as I could. I not only learned soloing, I was also listening to songs, and everything from Beatles to Steely Dan to Earth, Wind and Fire. I really wanted to learn song structure as well. So for me, it was really important to learn how all the parts, like a producer would think, this bass part goes with this chord, and the keyboard voicing is this, and the background vocals are doing whatever they're doing. To really listen to all the parts and how they all fit together and make sense together. But I was transcribing a lot of people. So I was learning a lot of harmonic information, and I was also learning a lot of, lines and melodic ideas. I remember transcribing Michael Brecker one time, and hours flew by, the great saxophone player, Michael Brecker. I remember there was a lick, and the lick inspired me so much that I created about 20 of my own just based on this one lick that he played that was so cool that I was able to permutate the idea and find variations. So transcribing, I can't tell you how important that is. You don't have to write it down. You just have to understand what's going on. Music is extremely logical. Music, if you know the chord progression, and that's the first thing you should learn of any song, is learn the chord progression, because then what the soloist plays will make sense. There's always a logic to the soloing, the scale that fits the chord. Once you know what the chord is, the soloing has to make sense over that. Usually it does. So that helps you make sense of the harmony that's being played. And if you do this countless times, eventually, I remember I got to a point after transcribing so many different players for so many years, and it's good to mix them up too. You don't want to keep only listening to one person. You want to mix and listen. Your style will evolve from your personal tastes of all the different players that you like to listen to. And then that will sort of conglomerate, meld into your own sound. Because ultimately, we're going to find our own ideas. I remember after about 15 years, I started to go, okay, I think I got the idea from everybody that I've been fortunate enough to listen to and learn from directly off of records or wherever. Now I'm ready to pursue my own ideas further. And so with that foundation, I was able to really, hone my own style, because I was then more interested in my own ideas and to follow that muse, go along with my own ideas. And that's how you develop your own style. Eventually you will. But it takes a long time. I think it does. It took 15 to 20 years. And then from there on, I've been really just, I haven't really transcribed anybody for many, many years, because I'm okay to sit around and just come up with my own licks at this point. So there you have it. That's how I would recommend it. Transcribe your favorite players. Because there's another thing I'd like to say too. What is it that draws you into a particular player? What is it about them? Have you got the answer yet? Oh, you're waiting on me. Okay, well, you're drawn to a particular player because they're playing something that you like, right? This is essential. We make choices. Why don't we like this person, but we like this person's playing? Or, that person's okay, but this person is the bomb. And what is it about that person that, really moves you to want to, oh, look, I have to learn or copy that solo or that song because I love it. And it's that, wherever that comes from, your personal taste, that's what's going to motivate you and drive you towards your own style. because it's really important to understand. I wanted to know, musically speaking, what is it about that player that floats my boat? What is it about that player that I love so much? I have to know it in physical, musical terms. So I would learn the lines or whatever it was, or the chord progression. I go, man, oh, I would never have thought of that in a million years, but I love it. So I would take that and I would learn it and I'd understand it, try to really make sense of it, harmonically speaking. You know, it could be, oh, he's always hitting the 9 on a major 7. Oh, I just love the sound of that. Or it could be this triad over that chord, and whatever it is, it's a phrase or it's a whole solo, whatever it is, the power of the solo, the energy. There's a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of elements that make up your favorite players. So I had to copy. The more you copy that, eventually you become that. You become what you listen to, what your favorite things are. And then people start going, hey, man, I like the way you play. And you go, yeah, I made up that lick. And that was your own lick, even though you may have stolen it. People always often say, you steal from the best. And I completely agree with that. But you make it your own. You transcribe lots of great players, and then you manipulate those notes or those ideas, and you make them your own. And that, then people are going to love your playing in the same way that you love these other players that you were listening to. And it's an interesting phenomenon. Right, I'm going to do one more question, and then I might play some more, but I haven't got anything else prepared, so I might just say goodbye until the next time, because we'll do this again, folks. If you had fun, and as much as I did anyway, we'll do it again soon. Disseltube72. What a lovely name, Disseltube72. Hi, Frank. I'll put you up here. Makes it easier. I'm not a pro guitar player, but I found very useful a study of your tunes on GP. Oh, Guitar Pro? Guitar player? GP what? Anyway, could you think to publish your tunes also from your old album in a GP version? Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, yeah, Guitar Pro. Well, I do have quite a few things up on my website. If you guys haven't been to my website, please go visit. There's a one-day special coupon. I'm going to put it up here now. There it is. Coupon today only at frankgambaleguitarschool.com. I'm constantly creating courses for you guys to help inspire you and lead you forward towards your dream of being great players. And I have some really cool tunes transcribed there. Most of my tunes are available from frankgambale.com tabs, but I will, over time, put them all into Guitar Pro so you can slow them down and loop them. I love Guitar Pro. It's an awesome program, and I use it on all my courses on the website. So anyway, I've had a ball. I'm going to go out with a little commercial and then a little video that I created to tag this. And thanks a lot for being here. Look, I'll be announcing the next one soon, and we'll be back for more of your questions. Thanks a lot, guys. Been a blast. Take it easy. Hi, this is Frank Gambale, and welcome to the Definitive Sweep Picking Course. 3, 4. And of course, you can really go as fast as you can.
done.